Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the podcast, episode number 20. I can't believe it's been 20 weeks. So this week's a very special one. We're talking all things Yelp Las Vegas. Through its 14-year existence, and despite many competitors that have come and usually end up gone, Yelp continues to lead the forefront as the go-to, not just for restaurants, but services and everything else. If I need a landscaper or vacuum repair, I can't think of a better place to go. And from a personal standpoint, I would not be where I am today had it not been for Yelp. I cut my teeth writing about food on there, met a ton of people over the years that I consider to still be great friends, and initially built my following on IG because of social media foodies. In those circles, used to call me the Yelp guy. And then I started going back to Yelp events, and they were calling me the Instagram guy. And Kayla Rambo, who is the current community manager, has been for 2.5 years. I'm super excited to have her on the podcast, repping at Yelp LV with over 33K followers and over 3,300 friends on her personal Yelp account. Kayla, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Phil. I'm so excited to be here and just very honored to be here too.
Of course. I think, to me, it wouldn't. A food and social podcast would be incomplete without Yelp, because it's still such a huge part of all things food. And thanks to you, you've kept the flag. You kept the flag waving. And
thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that.
So we've met once. That was briefly back in September of 2019 at your amazing Yelp Very Vegas party at Mansion 54. Wish we got to talk longer, but I think that was the last huge event that you threw.
Yeah, it definitely was. I'm pretty sure that was probably, and that was about 5 months into my job as the community manager for Yelp. So yeah, pretty big event to have 5 months in, but I was super excited to do it.
Yeah, there were so many vendors, and I've known some of the CMs in the past, and I kind of got a glimpse at the amount of work and organization that you have to go through. So yeah, thanks for doing that. I know it's been a bit for you as a CM, but if you don't mind, kind of explaining what a community manager does for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, I live here locally in Las Vegas, and my job as a community manager is to work with both local businesses and our Yelp Elite Squad. So within that, there's a few different parts to my job. So part of my job is really just to communicate with local businesses and helping them navigate Yelp. So how to use our free tools, letting them know all the free resources they have available, like our Yelp business blog and things like that. Another part of my job is to partner with local businesses and set up really cool, unique, and fun experiences exclusively for our local Yelp Elite Squad community. And then another part of my job is helping Yelpers understand more about the Elite Squad and what it takes to become part of the Elite Squad. So in order to be part of the Elite Squad, Yelpers have to nominate themselves or they have to be nominated. And then from there, our Elite Council out of our headquarters in San Francisco actually go through their profile and then decide to invite them to the Elite Squad and allow them to get the badge. And then, as you know, Phil, our badges are good until the end of the calendar year. So at the end of the calendar year, the process kind of repeats itself. The elites renominate themselves, and then the Elite Council goes back through their profiles and decides who gets the badge for the following year. And then among all of that, too, I also run all of our social media for our local Yelp handle, which is at Yelp LV on Instagram. And there we provide localized content for Yelpers and businesses, whether it's announcing a new attribute we have or sharing a Meet the Owner post where we kind of give a behind the scenes look at some of the local business owners in Vegas. That's just a little bit about what I do as the local community manager here in Vegas.
Awesome. And then when I used to be Elite, I would get that question, the DM question or the compliment question all the time. How do I become Elite? Why am I not Elite yet?
Right.
When you look at my page, I used to just write at least 5 reviews a month and post some pictures and quick tips, and eventually it'll happen.
Yeah, some of the things that we kind of say as community managers is just, writing consistently, and you're out there supporting local businesses on and off Yelp, and just doing things like that and engaging with the rest of the community. But yeah, they just nominate themselves at yelp.com/elite, and the elite council just kind of takes it from there, and they decide who becomes part of the elite squad.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you have Vegas roots yourself, right?
I do, yeah. So I've been here nearly 2 decades. So yeah, long time.
Awesome. And then did you go to UNLV?
I did. So since I've lived here for about almost 20 years, I went to middle school, high school, and college here. So I actually attended UNLV as well. And at first I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do when I went to college. I think most college students don't really know what they want to do. But I just always knew I loved people and I loved being social. And I think my mom would tell anyone that in grade school, I think on my report cards, it always said, great student, but talks a little bit too much. So I just always knew I wanted to do something social. But yeah, I went to UNLV and graduated from UNLV with a degree in journalism and a concentration in integrated marketing communications.
Which makes this the perfect job.
Yeah, it was definitely a very good segue. I worked in PR before this. So after I graduated UNLV, I decided to pursue a career in public relations. And I worked at quite a few different agencies in town, all in Vegas. So I represented places like the Cosmopolitan, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, Hex Kitchen, Blue Man Group, just a bunch of different clients. And then one of my roles too was at Neiman Marcus at Fashion Show Mall, which is kind of where I fell in love with event planning. And that's kind of like where I got, I loved event planning and everything like that, and which just kind of led me naturally to Yelp.
Yeah, and I feel like your work in PR and all the experiences that you've had from the outside, makes me feel like you were the best suited to become community manager.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, because you've dealt with so many types of people in the past, and I think you have a unique view on businesses and people from both ends.
Yeah, absolutely. I think being a publicist, obviously you work with different clients and local businesses, and you're telling their story to the public and to the community, to media outlets and things like that. And then on the other end of that, you're also, someone in the community as well. And you know exactly like what you're looking for when it comes to businesses. So yeah, it definitely was kind of a natural fit going into the community manager job. And to be honest, it was one of the first events that I ever staffed as a publicist. It was a Yelp Elite event, I think at like True Fusion or something. And it was a really long time ago. And I just remember
I love that event.
I remember meeting, I think, was Misty the community manager then? I think it might have been Misty.
True Fusion. I don't think it was True Fusion. Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I can't remember exactly who it was, but I remember the event and just thinking, whatever this is what I want to do. Like, that's my dream job. It just looked like so much fun. And then even in my career as a publicist, I was always working with the community managers. So I worked a lot with Taylor and Nate. And yeah, just always used Yelp before, always used it for reviews and looking at, businesses and like what, looking at photos and browsing photos and figuring out what should I eat, before I go and visit a restaurant. So when I saw the job opened up, I just thought, oh my gosh, it's my chance at my dream job. And yeah, I applied and now I've been here kind of ever since. So yeah, very excited.
And if you don't mind me asking, what was the process like for you becoming CM? Because I know there's quite a few steps and several rounds of interviews you had to probably do.
Yeah, so several rounds of interviews. I met with my manager at the time, and we did an interview like over the phone, and then there was an interview in person too. And then I also had to interview with our vice president of community management too. So there was definitely several rounds. There's like interview questions I had to fill out and things like that. So definitely different rounds and just asking, why I wanted to pursue the career at Yelp and everything like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I could only imagine that last year was, easily the most unique and trying year to be a community manager. You did so many remote events. What was all that like for you, and how did that all work logistically?
Yeah. So once the pandemic hit, I feel like it really changed everything for so many people and just put a lot of different things into perspective for all of us. And as Yelp community managers, like I said, we're constantly talking with business owners and just hearing their stories. And I just even remember one business owner at the time who told me it was he and his wife who were switching shifts at their business to keep their business open. And they had to lay off all their employees and had limited hours. And I could just tell listening to him, it was something that was weighing so incredibly heavy on him. And these were stories I was hearing like left and right. It was very common. So I think at Yelp, we were just kind of trying to figure out, how can we continue to support these local businesses? Because they really were getting hit extremely hard during the pandemic. And business owners in our community are our friends, they're our neighbors, they're our fellow Las Vegans. And we just had this moment of like, how do we continue to support them? So as we saw, as COVID numbers were kind of going up, events were getting canceled, left and right, especially here in Vegas. We're the entertainment capital of the world and the strip was just dark. So Yelp decided to forego in-person events and we canceled all of our elite events, just really to keep the community safe, to keep business owners safe, their staff members safe, our elite squad safe, just everyone. We just wanted to make sure we were doing the safest thing possible. So from there, as a community management team, the wheels started to turn because our communities were so affected by this pandemic and local businesses were just extremely affected. And we wanted to be able to continue to support them and do it safely. So virtual events were kind of born out of this necessity to continue to tell these stories of these local business owners and connecting them with the elite squad and the Yelp community. So as you know, Phil, like our elite events are super fun and they're a really good time. But really what they're about is connecting our elite squad with local business owners and, letting the business owners hear, like letting them share their story and letting the elite squad hear like their passion. And then we just felt like now more than ever, especially during this pandemic, business owners needed to be heard by the community. And so it was just this kind of beautiful thing to see, to continue to connect the elite squad with not only one another, but these local businesses that really just needed our support. And we did all different types of events. We did virtual cooking classes, tie-dye events. We did drag bingo. One of our events was Yelp's Big Night In, where we encouraged Yelpers and the elite squad to order takeout or delivery from local restaurants. And we hosted so many different cool and unique events that I think might not have been able to happen pre-pandemic. So another one of my favorite events that we hosted was where we partnered with the Yelp Reno community. And obviously Reno is very far away. So pre-pandemic, we probably would not have been able to do this. So we partnered with them to do the Great Nevada Gift Swap, where we partnered with also Made in Nevada and put together these really cool gift bags for the elite squad in Vegas and in Reno. And they all featured different gift giving items from local businesses for the holidays. And we did this really cool virtual event where we had the business owners come on and share their story. And it was just so cool to see because, for example, we had Live at Your Own Pace, which is a clothing store in downtown Container Park. And, Container Park has, the space is very, very small. So we can't really house like 100, Yelp elites there. So it was a chance for Andre, the owner, to just kind of get in front of these Yelpers and share his story. And if you don't know his story, it's absolutely amazing and just incredibly inspiring. So it gave us a chance to work with businesses like that, like Andre's, that maybe not have been able to host an in-person elite event, and just gave them this platform, an opportunity to get in front of locals and just, so that the locals can support them. And, for right now too, like we were able to host one in-person event back with the Front Yard, and we did this really cool Tiki Happy Hour event. But shortly after that, Yelp made the decision to only host outdoor elite events, which right now, obviously in Vegas, it's a little too hot out.